Okay, so like I said, I was going to upload a video showing you of my complete setup here using the Arduino Mega 2560 and the Sainsmart 16-channel relay board and using Vixen 3 software to control all my Christmas lights outside of my house. It's in the middle of the day, so I'm not really going to be able to show you a demonstration now of the light show, but you can see that on another video I've uploaded. So what I've done here then is I've taken, as you can see at the top picture here, at the top of the picture, I've taken four four-way plugs. As you can see here, sorry about the video, I can't get too close because otherwise you won't see the picture. Four-way plugs give me a total of 4, 8, 12, 17 plugs altogether. I've took a main feed here from the mains in my garage, which is this one here, with obviously a circuit breaker on the end. That plugs straight into the mains in my garage. Feeds up then into the chop block here, which then is wired in like I said, four ways, wired into the plug socket here. This is straightforward wiring, coming off the negative into the negatives of all the plugs. That's quite straightforward, that wiring there. Then what I've done is I've taken all my plug sockets that I'm using. I'm only using I believe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm only using 12 sets of lights, 12 plugs, 12 sets of lights. So I'm not using the full 16 channels on my relay board. The reason being is that on channel 1 up here, one of the plastic things come loose, and I think it's causing the circuit to break out every now and then, so I've had to cancel that one out. And obviously, because it's a Sainsmart Relay Board, these are mechanical relays, and they don't like a lot of chatter. And what happens is, tends to happen, it's froze up. It kept freezing when I was running the program all the time, so all the relays kept freezing. So the less I use and the less chatter, the more likely it's going to work. But next year I'm hoping to change them over to solid state relays. That way they can handle the chatter a bit more. So what I've done then is, from the 4 ways, like I said, feeding off the mains, I've taken my 12 volts. I'm pretty much using all 12 volt power supplies. The reason being, again, is that over in the UK here we run 240 volt, and again the relays, I don't know if you can see on them, if it does focus in, which is not going to. The relays, actually on the relays, they do say that it takes a 10 amp 250 volt AC and a 10 amp 125 AV, so it says it can handle the voltage that we have here, but still it's not. I don't really like the fact of having to power everything by 240 volts straight into the relay. So like I said, all my AC power supplies are all converted down into 12 volt for me, and I'm using pretty much LEDs. That's all I'm using outside is LEDs, nothing else, no rope lights or anything like that, or bulbs. So what I've done then is, coming off an AC power supply, let's take an easy one, this one here. So for instance, this is the tree, this is one of my right trees. Taking the power supply from the main plug, obviously it's a 2-pin wire, which feeds all the way down through, sorry about the video and it's really hard to do this, and feeding straight into my relay board. Now I've taken one of the wires, okay, so one of these black wires, okay, will feed into the middle pin, which is the common on the relay board. The other wire, on the other second wire, feeds into this chop block, which then powers, which I'll show you in a minute, which feeds into the common live from the lights outside, which I'll explain a bit more. So we've fed into the middle common, then above on the common open, I've used the common open, we fed in the neutral from the lights. So this one here, for instance, we fed in the neutral from the lights outside. So I've literally got this wire, feeds all the way up here, all the way up to the top, all the way out there, and out to my garage, out to the set of lights outside. This is the same setup for all the lights. So I've got all my power supplies coming in through here, all the wiring's coming in through here, coming down through. And then what I'm doing is I'm using a 2-core wire, very thin, 0.05. Doesn't have to be anything heavy duty. Very thin, 0.5 2-core wire. And I'm taking the common, negative, like I said, negative is going into the common open on the relay board. Then the live is feeding into the chop block, which, like I showed you earlier, which is where the second wire comes from and feeds into on the chop block. So completing the circuit. So what the relays are actually controlling. What I've put into the relays is the neutral from the plug and the neutral from the lights. This way, causing a break in the circuit. Then obviously, when the relay is powered, it switches on and off. It closes and opens the circuit. And yeah, so that's how I've controlled it with this one. They're all the same up through here. All these lights are wired in exactly the same way, no different whatsoever. So again, once again, just taking from a plug. You've got your 2-pin, you've got your 2 wires coming from your 12-volt AC. Comes down in, take 1 wire into the common in the middle pin on the relay board. Then take the second wire, and I've just junctioned it into a chop block. Then you take your wire from your lights, set of lights outside, coming in on the 2-core wire. Again, take the blue, the common negative, wire that then into the top pin, which is the common open. Yeah, you have to make sure you wire it on the common open. On the Sainsmart Relay Board, on the left side, the common open is the top pin, but on the right hand side, because they reverse them around, the common open then is the bottom pin. So you have to just watch your. But there is a little diagram. I can't really see if you can see the diagram, but on the relay boards, just at the bottom here, there's a diagram telling you the common close, the common and the common open, 3-pinned. Obviously here in the UK, all we need to use is the 3. We just need to use the 2 pins just to break the circuit. So yeah, so that's in the relay board. I will try and draw a couple of diagrams up, just explains a bit more, because like I said, the video is jotting around here and it's quite a tight squeeze in my garage here, so I do apologise. So this is my Arduino Mega. I've got wired in here. I've just taken some jumper cables. Obviously I've used pins 2 up to 13, so 2 to 13, and then I've used pins 42, 43 and 44 on the bottom here. So I've got all my pins wired in, but like I said, they've all been jumper cabled in, because originally I was going to use the 16 channels, but I'm actually not using the 16 now. But I just left the cables in there because it's not a problem, because the Mega, the sketch that I've uploaded, isn't reading them anyway. And then quite a few people are confused about the power supply for the Mega. The Mega can be powered, the Mega 2560 anyway, can be powered via the USB cable. So as soon as you plug the USB cable into your computer, it will actually power the Mega, and then it will actually also power the relay board. I've got in here wired in, at the bottom here you can see I've got a ground wired in and a 5-volt. This is taken from the Sainsmart Relay Board. So it will, when you plug in the USB cable, it will power up the Sainsmart as well, but just the LEDs. So the mechanical relays won't actually work at all. It'll just be the LEDs on the Sainsmart Relay Board. What you do need to do on the Sainsmart Relay Board, again, as a few people confused, is you need a 12-volt power supply. This is two wires. I've taken it off of my relay board here, so it goes up through and then into my power supply and the plug up here. So this powers the Sainsmart relay, the mechanical relays inside, and what drives the switch from common to close on the switch. So yeah, so that's what's driving this. So you need to get a 12-volt power supply to power your Sainsmart relay board. The lights will come on, like I said, the LED will come on because it's powered via the USB. But also your Arduino is powered again from these 12 volts. So your 12-volt comes in, and then you need to take a 5-volt. If you can see again from here, you've got a 5-volt pin here. There is one below as well, which I've taken from here. So I've taken the 5-volt, fed it into my Arduino, and I've taken a ground from the other side and fed that into the Arduino as well. So make sure you've got those 2 in there, and for your power for your Arduino Mega. But there is a separate power supply here if you do feel like it, and I think, I'm not quite sure, you'd have to double check again because I've not used it. I think it's either a 5-volt or 12-volt, but you have to check that one because I've not used it, so I don't know what the voltage is on that. It must be 5-volt because we're taking 5 volts from our Sainsmart Relay Board. 5-volting it in. Then obviously USB then connects into the Vixen software. I've not got my computer out here at the moment, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload another video a little bit later on, which will show you my sketch and my Vixen setup, and how it controls the relay boards, and I'll get the relay boards flashing, and we can show you that video. So yeah, so just another quick look. Main power supply, chop block, wired in, 4 4-way plugs. And in each plug then I've got my set of lights that I'm using. Also I've got the AC power supply for my Sainsmart Relay Board. Taking the 2 wires from the plugs, feeding one into the common open, the top one. Sorry, no, the middle one on your relay board. So feeding from the plug into the common. Then you're taking out the common open. You're taking the negative from the wires that are feeding from outside your house, and then you just need to connect the live wires via the chop block so they're completing the whole circuit. But like I said, I drew a diagram, explains a little bit more because my wiring here is a bit crazy. I did try and get as tidy as possible, but I was running out of time, and I had my light switch on a couple of days ago, so I had to get this finished pretty quickly. But yeah, so I hope that helps. Any questions, obviously just post on the site.